Hi everybody, welcome to our TNT on a Saturday morning, and might I say, a very, very nice Saturday morning indeed. We've got bright sunshine, 31 degrees I think is the expected top, very few clouds in the sky, zero chance of rain, and this is definitely not wet season weather. So I can declare that we've got a very good day ahead. Now, hello to everybody who's out there. I'm just going to do the usual check to make sure that we're on, as you do. And just, of course, asking you if you can hear us okay, because if you can't, that's no good. But everything seems to be working at this end. So welcome to everybody, no matter where you are in the world. Great to have you with us. Let's just check a few people where they're from, and I can see we've got a few comments already. So we've got John D from Melbourne, Australia, Scott D dropping in with a few questions, and I'll get to those a little bit later. We've got Alan saying good morning all. Don't know where you're from, Alan, but welcome. We've also got the cleaner here today. Here, come and say hello.
Ah.
Come on.
Okay.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, there you go, you see? So the cleaner says hello as well. We've got Hans, of course, he's from beautiful Redwood City, California, as he says. And rock trip on this. Now, it looks like rock trip on this is going to be making his or her way to Thailand for a bit of a recce to see if he or she would like to live here in the future. So you've got a few questions there. He'd like to spend, or she would like to spend, 5 to 6 months, first time, maybe stay in several places. You've got the right idea. If you're going to think of retiring in Thailand, and retiring is pretty much the focus of the discussions today, then I would warmly recommend coming to spend an extended time here and have a look around and stay at several places. So you've got the right idea. So I'm going to premise the full chat today with the situation that we've got, where it could be that we've got a few changes coming to the way that you can retire in Thailand. Now, the existing OA visa, the retirement visa, geezer visa, whatever you want to call it, has been around for a long time, I think like about 20 years or so. And they haven't really made any wholesale changes to it. There's been a requirement to have 800,000 baht in a Thai bank account. And I know that's a bit of a chicken and egg problem. How do you get a Thai bank account unless you've got a visa? So I'm not going to address that today because that's that's a different chat for another time. But the other alternative is you can have 65,000 baht coming in to your account each month. And you'll need to, of course, prove that with some sort of documentation. So that's been around for a long time. Now, of course, there's been inflation during that time. So if the Thai government decided to put up those qualifications, then you'd have to say that that's sort of expected. Now, it hasn't happened yet, and it's not going to happen in the next few months. And it's very likely that if they do bring any changes to those qualifications, that the people with their existing visas would be able to stay and extend or renew each year on the old or the grandfathered qualifications. So people who would be coming to Thailand in the future would have to meet the new qualifications that were people that were here and maintained their current visa or renewed it every year would be able to use their original qualifications. Now, again, that hasn't happened, but it's the sort of thing that the Thai government have done in the past and is probably more likely to happen. Now, I'm also going to have a talk about other alternatives, things like the Thailand Elite Visa, things like the long-term resident visa, and you've also got things like ED visas, marriage visas, non-B visas. I'll have a quick talk about those, but I suppose the focus today is not only about visas to retire in Thailand, but also the prospect of retiring in Thailand and whether Thailand is still the best place to retire in Southeast Asia. I think it is, but other people will disagree, and I'll be very happy to read your comments as we discuss this today. The idea is that we're going to have, by the end of this half hour or so, whatever it is, a little bit more of an understanding of what's happening with visas and retiring in Thailand. Now, for people on the elite visa, and there's currently some 30,000 people, foreigners, who are using the Thailand elite visa as their way of staying in the kingdom, there will be, and it's already been announced, some wholesale changes. So these are not just slight tweaks. People have been advised that if they don't have their application in by the 14th of September, then they will have to then go with the new options for a Thailand elite visa. We don't know what those are yet, but we can imagine there will be some price increases. We can imagine there will be some new categories, but nobody knows. And if you say you know, you don't, because I've checked. And I've spoken to people who know exactly what's happening with the Thailand elite, even people who know what the changes are, and they wouldn't tell me, and they say it's a very closely guarded secret as of today. But I imagine in the next week or so, the information's going to come out. And those people that want to go from the lowest tier, which is a 5-year visa, it's I think 600,000 baht to buy a full 5-year Thailand elite visa. If you want to upgrade that, you need to do that by next week. So if you do have a Thailand elite visa, it's incumbent on you to go to their website, speak to your agent, find out what's going on. I also want to have a talk about the role of visa agents. Some people, like Clive, think they're just a scam. But visa agents actually perform a very important role in Thailand for foreigners. Yes, there are scams. Of course there are scams, and they're the ones we tend to hear about. But 99 times out of 100, visa agents do a very good job to help foreigners wade through the paperwork. Yes, in some cases, lubricate the paperwork for a fee. And I suppose that's where it sort of comes into a grey area, which some people could call corruption. Of course, Thais just like to call it business. But let's go to some of the early comments, and we'll get to our retirement very, very soon. Scott D posed an interesting question. As you single-handedly approached 25,000 subscribers, would you have pursued a path of media, radio, TV, production, online, writing, YouTube, had it not been for Colin Long? Oh, so, okay, so Colin Long is my uncle. Let's go to, hang on, here we go. And I'm going to go to this. So this is, for those people that don't know, this is Colin Long. He's in the centre there, and he's between two other tennis players, Ken Rosewall from Australia and Frank Sedgman, both who did a lot better at tennis than Colin did. But they were part of a Davis Cup team, I think, in 1948. Indeed, my uncle played for the Davis Cup for Australia over 3 different years. Now, in latter years, he also then hosted a golf clinic on Channel 7. Just see if I can get all my mechanics working here. And it went something like this. And so this is my uncle, Colin, who was hosting the golf clinic on Channel 7 Melbourne in Australia. And every week, for around about 15 minutes, he'd have a famous golfer on. And they would then go through what was happening with the latest trends in golf, the particular players' swing, some of their history and what they've done. Are we going to see any more of my Uncle Colin? There he is, just talking. I don't have any idea who he's talking to there. But indeed, his role in the media was an important guide for me. I think I would have ended up in the media anyway. It was sort of in my DNA. My father was a creative sort of person. My mother, on the other hand, was very practical. So I've sort of got these two quite different DNAs battling with each other. But yeah, indeed, I think going and watching my uncle working in TV, obviously spending a lot of time with him, popping into the studios, did influence me getting into the media. So thank you very much for that question, Scott. Scott, he's got another question. Scott's got a lot of questions today. I'll address this one as well, and we will be talking about retirement and get your thoughts on the current changes or proposed changes to retirement in Thailand very soon. This, I think, is an important one, though, because I think there's a lot of sort of, mystery still surrounding this. Scott's saying that the passing of the cave-rescued Thai teenager studying and playing football, soccer in Thailand is tragic. Is the past due autopsy that has been frustrating that has frustratingly yet to be released. Odd. You could have just put a few commas in there, Scott, it would have helped. But talking about the autopsy, about the death of Duangpech, I think was his Thai name. Promtep, Duangpech Promtep, his nickname was Dom. Now, I think we do have some, where are we here? So, yeah, this was reported on the BBC back on the 15th of February, talking about the Thai cave rescue. Duangpech Promtep, the wild boar captain, dies in the UK, and is saying that he was one of the 12 boys who were rescued from the Thai cave back in 2019. He died, and let's just sort of go to another story on that, and this came out a week later saying that the inquest opens in the UK, and an inquest into the death of Duangpech Promtep, one of the 12 boys rescued, has been opened and adjourned in the UK. The 17-year-old was enrolled in the football academy at the Brookhouse College in Leicester, I think I meant to say there, and he was found unconscious on the 12th of February. A provisional cause of death has been identified, but this was not disclosed at the inquest opening. And beyond that, Scott and everybody else, we don't really know much more. I've done quite an extensive search this morning into any results from an inquest, and nothing's been announced. Now, at the time, police did go out of their way to say that nothing was suspicious in the case. And my understanding in the UK that if there is no alleged criminal intent, if there's no mystery in the particular death, then the family can request that the autopsy results not be made public. So it may be that we'll never hear about the autopsy results, nor, if there's nothing suspicious, are they really any of our business. And I suppose we just have to take the original coroner's explanation that there was nothing suspicious about the death as it stands. So I think that's about all we can actually say on that. There's been no announcement. The intention to make autopsy results available by July the 6th hasn't happened. I don't know why that hasn't happened, but my understanding is that the family could have requested that those autopsy results not be made public if there was nothing suspicious about the results. It's about all I can say on that one. What else have we got here? We've got Frank in Thailand and Scott having a bit of a discussion, and that's fine too. John, Scott D. So, yes, people helping this gentleman find his feet. What is the longest tourist visa? 60 days plus 30-day extensions. I missed the METV. So this comes from Evil Twin. So depending on which country you come from, you can apply before you come to Thailand for a 60-day tourist visa, which you can then extend for another 30 days. That's correct. Now, that's a little bit different in some countries, but most countries, or the people that our audience are talking from, it would be 60-day tourist visa plus the possibility to extend for another 30 days. Now, you can also come on a visa waiver. You can just pack your bags, put your passport in your pocket, and if you are from, I think it's 68 countries, which includes most of the Western countries, you can just arrive in Thailand on a visa waiver, and that'll give you 30 days in Thailand, which you can extend for another 30 days. If you have to apply for a visa on arrival, either when you arrive in Thailand, that's only going to give you 15 days in Thailand, but you can extend that also for another 15 days in most cases. So it is partly dependent on where you come from in the world, and it's up to you to check with your own Thai embassies in your home country to find out what the rules are relating to your country. There's a lot of information online as well. But yes, if you do want to come to Thailand for a long time, the only option you really have is to apply for a visa. If you want to rely on visa runs, in other words, border runs, either driving to a nearby border or flying out of the country and back in again, there are some guidelines, and at the moment, most people say that you can usually do a border run twice in a calendar year. I think that's the general tone of the rules. But it's really up to the immigration official on that day, and it's going to depend on how he feels, who he was sleeping with the night before, his own personal understanding of the actual rules as to precisely what you'll get stamped into your visa. So don't just do border runs assuming that you'll be able to get back into the country. That's not actually the case. It's up to the immigration official that you run into on the border. Now, a lot of people seem to have a good luck with border runs, and if you go with a visa company, you're probably more likely to get through the border, and there might have to be something paid under the table, whatever happens. On a daily basis, you can drive from Phuket to the Malaysian border. There are people sitting in those passenger vans doing about 120 kilometres an hour, heading southward down to the border. It's a perilous run, but it happens every day. There would be, I don't know, 10, 20, 30, 40 buses heading down to the border and back. Very, very tiring. I personally would prefer to fly. When I used to do my own visa runs years ago, I used to fly to Penang. I thought that was the most civilised way to do it, and I'd make a weekend out of it on the island. That was in the days where they used to have cheap flights every day from Phuket to Penang, which is in Malaysia. So what are other people sort of saying here? I get a 60-day tourist visa, then extend for 30 days. I'm from the US, says James. Thank you very much, James. Tim, is there a way to stay in Thailand for 6 months at a time? Well, yes. I mean, in theory, you could come here on a 60-day tourist visa, then extend officially for another 30 days, then perhaps fly to KL and back, and you'll get another 30 days in your stamp, and then maybe fly to Vietnam and spend like a weekend there and fly back, and that gives you another 30 days. But again, anything beyond that, I think you're going to be pushing your luck doing border runs. And you'd probably have to fly back to your home country and apply for another visa. Beyond that, the best thing you can do is apply for a long stay visa. We'll get into those in just a moment. I'll go through these. How much is the cost to extend a visa waiver? An extension of a visa, it costs about 1,900 baht. So what's that, about $50 or $60 US? I'm just so out of touch with other foreign currencies. But it's about 1,900 baht. And I think that's about 50 or 60 US dollars. And that means you can stay for another 30 days. So that's the cost for and I think we got that information from James, has provided that information. Thank you, James. Paul Cowan says, if Thailand cracks down on anyone coming in with a criminal record, is that fair for those who picked up a criminal record when they were young and made a foolish mistake? It won't be very fair. Again, that's going to be up to the immigration officer who's looking at your particular application. But I've had to advise, well, I haven't had to, but people have asked me this question in the past. And I've said the very, very best thing you can do is go in and have a chat at your embassy and talk about your own personal case. Be absolutely open and honest. And, you might find that they will decide to waive that if it's a minor misdemeanor, if it happened a long time ago. But at the end of the day, that's the problem with criminal records and arrest records. If you've been arrested or if you have crimes, if you have convictions, then they are going to stick with you for the rest of your life. A big thanks to this particular person, CA. I'll get down to you in just a moment, but thank you very, very much for your kindness there. But yeah, I mean, they are trying to crack down generally on some of the criminal elements in Thailand, and a lot of the retirees that have been here for a long time are crying foul, saying, well, that's just not fair. We're doing the right thing. Why do we get punished for this 1-2% of criminals that are trying to come into Thailand and hide here? Why are we being punished? Well, it's up to the immigration department to figure out how they are going to do this. Are they going to have more extensive checks with Interpol? Are they going to be putting it on the overseas embassies to spend more time on applications? a lot of these people, of course, they come in with a tourist visa, then they apply for a long-term visa here in the country. And then it comes down to the Thai immigration officials to check those records. And how often is that going to happen? Really? I mean, they're pretty busy. If you go to any immigration office, there's usually queues out the door and they're flat chat every single day. You could say that the immigration department in Thailand is vastly under-resourced and understaffed, and I think that's pretty right. But yeah, do you want a local official who's busy checking your possible criminal record, or a Thai embassy official overseas who's probably got a little bit more time and easy availability to local criminal records? I'll leave that up to you. Evil Twin says, thanks for answering. Say hi to Steve, a loyal listener. You should have Jay as a guest. Jay? Extremely unlikely. Okay, what else have we got here? Tim, you can also get 6-month multi-entry visa. You get 60 days at a time. You can add 30 days for a fee, but you can come and go for 6 months easily on one visa. Now, Rod, I need to know which country you're from and what is that visa called. So it would be very, very helpful if you could tell us. I'm not aware of this 6-month multi-entry visa. Well, speaking as an Australian, but if you could give us some more information, Rod, I'd be very grateful, because I'm here giving some information, but you out there will have plenty of information as well. And if we can put all this together into one video, then it makes a much more powerful, more informative video. Now, we were speaking about the the different ways that you could come into Thailand, and one of them, for example, is to click over here, the long-term resident visa. And this usually means that you can stay in Thailand for 5 + 5 years, a total of 10 years. And let's just go through what they call some of the advantages here. So some of the advantages include the 90-day reporting. Usually on most visas you have to report to immigration every 90 days. I'm currently doing that at the moment, or in my case, my agent's doing it for a fee, because they can do it and I can get on with my work rather than spending 2 or 3 hours at the immigration office, which is a hassle for me to get to, and it's just easier to get the agent to do it. That's not any corruption, that's not criminal, they're just being paid to do a service for me. So on these long-term resident visas, you have a 1-year reporting rather than a 90-day report. You get multiple re-entry permit. On all other long-term visas, you usually get just a single entry permit. If you want multiple entry, you have to pay more for that. You get permission to work in Thailand. So in other words, you get a work permit. In the case of the long-term resident visa, it's a digital work permit, so there's no booklet involved in that. And you get 17% personal income tax for highly skilled professionals. So the whole taxation, if you're going to be working in Thailand, depending on the work you're doing, depending on who you're working for, there will be some taxation paid, there will be tax involved, but that is a discussion, and it's a very personal. Everybody's going to have a different taxation situation, so I'm not going to advise on that. But it looks like they've set a reasonably low tax rate for people on this visa. A tax exemption for overseas income, and immigration and work permit facilitation services, a one-stop shop. This is all run by the Board of Investment, the BOI, here in Thailand. And it was introduced, I think, in September 2021. It hasn't been very successful. Not many people have applied for this. A lot more people on Thailand elite visas than on long-term resident visas. This might be why. For example, if you're a wealthy global citizen, you could apply, and you'll need to have at least 1 million USD in assets, personal income of a minimum of US $80,000 a year in the past 2 years, investments of at least 500,000 US in Thai government bonds, foreign direct investment or Thai property, and health insurance with at least 50,000 US dollars coverage. So you can see the bar is set fairly high for this long-term resident visa, but it also covers what they call wealthy pensioners, work from Thailand professionals, highly skilled professionals in certain occupations, and spouses and their dependents. That's another advantage of these long-term resident visas, that you can bring your spouse and dependent along with you, and they get a visa as well. When it comes to wealthy pensioners, this is what you're going to have to, this is the bar you're going to have to jump over. A personal income of at least $80,000 a year at the time of application. In case of personal income below $80,000 a year, but no less than $40,000 a year, the applicant must invest at least $250,000 in Thai government bonds, foreign direct investment, or Thai property, and you'll have to have health insurance with at least $50,000 coverage. So that's just a bit of a quick oversight of the long-term resident visa, which will give you 5 years, then an extension, or the opportunity to extend for another 5 years. So it could mean some 10 trouble-free years living in Thailand. If you want to read more about that, just type in BOI, or Board of Investment, and LTR, or long-term resident, and you'll be able to read all about the long-term resident visas here in Thailand. Let's just see what other people are saying at the moment. Thank you very much, Evil Twin. That was very kind of you. And what else have we got here? As I just I've got my usual sort of conjunctivitis and blurry eyes, which I get this time of the year here in Thailand. It's all fine. It's nothing to do with my eye surgery. It's just to do with sort of a hay fever. I think it's the black mold that causes it for me. I've done so many tests over the years, nobody can seem to find out, but I think it's like the black mold that turns up during the wet season and blows around. But usually an antihistamine knocks it on the head, but I always sort of have these watery eyes. Charles says it was not up to each immigration officer, and the rules are the same all over Thailand, that may take the incentive to pass with a coffee fund donation. If it was not up to each immigration officer and the rules are the same over Thailand, that may take the incentive to pass with a coffee. Okay, I'm not exactly sure what you're saying there, but thank you. Kurt says, Tim, I have a family I'm very close to. The husband owns a company. Is there anything they can do to sponsor me? I'm from the US, retired. Well, yes, a Thai company can sponsor you for a non-B visa, which is a business visa, which means that you can come and work in Thailand. So there's paperwork involved, but most Thai company accountants will know what to do. Otherwise, you can go to an agent, and they can then do that on behalf of your company, because they do it 50 times a week. So yes, a Thai company can sponsor you for a non-B visa, which is a business visa, which means you can work in Thailand. It's not that expensive. If you go through a visa agent, there will be more costs involved. Could cost 20 to 40,000 baht, and you'll have to apply at a foreign embassy. So if you're in Thailand, you'd fly routinely to Vientiane or KL or Penang, for example. They have been harder to get over the past 2 years. I know, because I had to apply for one, and I had to go 2 or 3 times to Penang to actually get it. And they a lot of these consulates now have a cap on the number of applications each day. In the case of Penang, it was 50. And there was 49 Russians and me. I was the last person to get in. So, the first time I was turned down, as was the other 49 applicants on that day. So they are crossing the T's and dotting the I's a lot more than they used to in the past, and they will probably do a more thorough check on your company in Thailand than they did in the past. So a lot of the complaints about visas in Thailand at the moment, not that they've changed, is that they're checking a lot more than they used to, which I suppose we can't really complain about, that the laws have been there Some visa agents have found ways to get around some of those qualifications. Some immigration officers have been financially encouraged to turn a blind eye to certain problems with applications, but less of that is now happening. Been a huge crackdown in Thailand, mostly due to Surachat Hakpan, who was once the head of Thai immigration and is now the deputy police commissioner here in Thailand. And he's really done a lot to try and tighten up the immigration rules in Thailand. Not change them, just tighten them up and make sure that people are actually applying with the correct qualifications. Just scrolling down, I have to do this very slowly, otherwise it just leaps to the bottom. My 90-day report takes about 20 minutes in Khon Kaen, says Hans. Yeah, look, Khon Kaen, I'm suggesting, is a lot different from Phuket. At the moment, if you go to any of the 3 locations in Phuket, there are just long waits. Now, if you wanted to use the drive-through services, that's a lot quicker. I haven't availed myself of that service recently, but just getting into Phuket town in my car, that's just... it's a lot of time out of my day. I prefer to get a visa agent to do it for me. So that just suits me. The other problem, they've got this drive-through service at the main Phuket immigration office. Brilliant. Because, of course, here in Thailand, we sit on the right-hand side of the car, the wheels on the right-hand side. And as you drive past the window, guess which side the immigration official is? You'd think on the right side. Wind down the window. No. It's on the passenger side of the car. So you sort of reaching across. Oh, I have to take the seatbelt off. Reaching. Oh, my back. Oh. So it's a bit of a pain. I don't know why they just didn't do it round the other way. It would have made so much... there you go. So good idea. It seemed good thought at the time. Jack Fletcher says, for about 14 years now, I've used a mix of airport entry plus extensions, visa runs, family visas, COVID extensions, and Thai spouse visas. Just mailed my stuff to an agent for a retirement visa. So, yeah, Jack, you've sort of been through the ringer there. The point, I suppose, at the end of all this is that if you want to retire in Thailand, there is a way you can do it. And it might cost you some money. If you need to be able to get a visa agent to oil the wheels for you, then that opportunity exists. Settle down, Clive. Settle down. Clive is just so against me talking about visa agents, but visa agents are set up by are there, and they work on behalf of the Thai Immigration Department. And they pay the Thai Immigration Department to get the opportunity to do that and to get a license. And then they basically short-circuit a lot of the paperwork. Now, if you're a Thai immigration officer sitting in the immigration office and sort of an old 65-year-old totters in with all sorts of paper and a backpack, are they going to take the application from them or the visa agent they've been working with for the past 10 years, who's just got a little folder and they know that everything is going to be sorted out in that folder? So visa agents do make things a lot easier for people. You don't have to use a visa agent. You can do it all by yourself, and it's going to cost you a lot less. But if you need a little bit of help, or if you just don't want to do the paperwork, then a visa agent is going to make it a lot easier for you. And in 99 times out of 100, it's all above board. And you will pay for that service. By the way, the cleaner is now cleaning upstairs with the vacuum cleaner, and that's the noise you can hear in the background. I do it online, says Ape Jones. Do what online? There is only a certain number of visas you can apply for online. 90-day visa online works very well. 90-day... Oh, okay, so you're talking about the 90-day reporting. So yes, you can do a 90-day report online. Now, Gunnar Hopstad, good luck, Hoppestad. I'm sorry if I pronounce your name incorrectly. You can do it online. You have to register online first, and then you just do it routinely. Now, I tried that for about a year. I tried to first register, and that took quite a while, and a few visits down to the immigration office. And then I did one 90-day report online, and then every other time I've tried since then it didn't work. I don't do those reports online anymore. It didn't work for me. Now the cat's trying to get into the house. I've closed the fly-wire screens, so she's not happy. Okay, what else have we got here? Roy Goad saying, in the end, it can cost the same getting a long-term visa in the Philippines as it is in Thailand, but after 3 years you have to leave the Philippines and can return to start again. Okay, which brings me to the next thing. Is Thailand still the best place in Southeast Asia to apply, to live a long time, to retire? Understanding that there are some 30 and 40-year-olds that have made shitloads of cash through whatever, and want to come and live in Thailand long time. They're not 50 years old, so they can't apply for a retirement visa. So they're going to have to look at one of these other long-term resident visas, or an ED visa, or a non-B visa to stay in Thailand. Oh, Dusty, you're just going to have to wait. She's going to end up shredding the screen because she's an older cat. She's about 13 years old, and her claws, they're not terribly sharp, but they're quite thick, because she usually sleeps on the bed each night and decides she's going to put her claws into my leg at some stage. So that's Dusty. You don't care, I know, so I'll shut up about it. So why do people come or want to come to Thailand? Well, it's an exciting place. I just checked online another story today, and we'll check this if I can find it quickly. And it's a report from Thai PBS World saying that Bangkok is the world's most visited city this year, and Bangkok, Thailand, is the most visited city in the world so far this year, with around 22 million international arrivals, according to a survey by the Travelness travel blog. More detailed data, Oh, what was it? An average spending of $173 a day. And Bangkok is more affordable than other cities in the top 20 and is well known for its colourful street life, food and cultural wonders such as the Grand Palace and Wat Arun. The city has something for everyone, from high-end shopping centre malls to low-cost street markets and soy cowboy. So anyway, we always see these surveys. Bangkok's always in the top 5, most visited cities in the world. And when it comes to Thailand, unlike places like the United States and Australia, where there's quite a few different capitals, not capitals, but large cities, Thailand's got one, Bangkok, and then there's all the rest. But the most popular places for people to come and visit in Thailand would be Bangkok, of course, then Phuket, Pattaya, Chiang Mai, Hua Hin. More people heading up to the northeast these days to Khon Kaen, Ubon Ratchathani, up along the border there with Laos. And I mean, there's a lot of other places in between. You've got Kanchanaburi, you've got way down south, places like Hat Yai. There's some very, very beautiful places in Thailand. Of course, you've got the other Gulf islands like Koh Samui, Koh Tao, Koh Phangan, Koh Chang. So they're all very, very worth visiting as well. Lots of different opportunities, different speeds, different lifestyles, and anybody coming to Thailand, you got to sort of experience a bit of all of those. Chiang Rai, people are going to say, oh, you didn't mention what, Hua Hin. I think I've mentioned all the main ones. So there are many, many different places, and they've all got something different to offer. And I think that's the variety of places that you can live. That's one of the big advantages of living in Thailand. Then there's the cost of living. Now, there's no doubt the cost of living has gone up over the past 10 years. And recently, perhaps it's accelerated more than in the past. But no more than any other country. The cost of living in Thailand has gone up. But it's gone up everywhere in the world. Now, the cost of these visas in Thailand has not really gone up. Looks like it's going to be going up soon with Thailand Elite. Perhaps in the future it may go up for things like the OA visa, maybe other visas as well. We don't know yet. But it's still a very cheap place to live. Now, you can go to places like Pattaya, you can go to the west coast of Phuket, you can go to Sukhumvit Road, that Sukhumvit strip in Bangkok, and you're going to be paying top dollar for just about everything, for tours, for food, for services, for anything. But like in an island like Phuket, you can go to one side of the island and pay X amount for a hotel. You come to the other side of the island, which is where I live, and you're going to be paying a third of that amount for rental and for things like food. I can still get a 50, 60, 70 baht pad thai here. If I go to Patong, I'm going to be paying 150 baht for that same plate of pad thai. I can go into an expensive hotel and pay 400 to 500 baht for that same pad thai. So Thai food universally is just very good, whether it be on the street, whether it be in a small, cheap Thai-owned cafe, or in an expensive hotel. The food is universally just very good everywhere. But some people they'll decide to want to pay more and live in a sort of slightly swisher, more touristy area. And the thing is that coming here as a tourist is not coming here as a long-term resident. And if you come here for a week and you think, oh, wow, Thailand's fantastic. The staff was so nice to me and people driving me anywhere I wanted to go. If you're living here as a resident, it's quite a different situation. And there are day-to-day annoyances that you're going to have to confront and get used to. So you do need, if you're going to think of living or retiring Thailand long-term, you need to come here for an extended time and experience some of those little annoyances, and most of them are little, and you need to make a few mistakes. I've made plenty. And decide if you still want to stay here. I do. So they're all the sort of things that are worth considering. Beyond that, the weather in Thailand is universally excellent. It's pretty much going to be hot all the time, except if you're up in the far north of Thailand, where they do have an actual cold season, and it can get down to even 0 at night time, or around about 10 degrees Celsius during the day, but that's really only for about a month. The rest of the year, even up in Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai, it's very, very hot. Down in the middle of Thailand, it's pretty much going to be hot all the way through the year. Places like Pattaya, Hua Hin, Bangkok. You go further south and it's going to be a little bit hotter and more humid. So here in Phuket, it's hot all the way through the year. It's going to be 29, 30, up to 34 degrees in the hot season. But it's either dry or wet. That's all you got to worry about. It's either raining or it's not. So, and as you go down to the border, the same situation where you've got the distinct wet season that's very easy to time, and it's always very, very humid. Remembering that the south of Thailand's not that far away from the equator. Okay, how's the weather in Khon Kaen? Oh, the people having a talk to each other on the chat. And thank you and welcome to all those people in the chat. I'm not ignoring you. I'm just trying to pass on as much information as I can in a short time. And some very kind people. Evil Twin, you've done it again. Tim, can you retire now and stop all your projects if you wanted? Or are these projects fun or passions? If I stopped working now, I wouldn't be able to live in Thailand if I was going to live for another, 20, 30, 40 years. 40 years might be pushing it. So I have to work. There's no doubt about it. If I don't work, I will only be able to survive in Thailand for, say, 5 to 10 years. I don't want to go back to my home country. I could, but I prefer to live in Thailand, and I know I can live a comfortable, happy lifestyle here much cheaper than in my home country of Australia. And not that I've got anything against Australia, but yes, I do have to work. All these projects and the fact that I turn up online every day are because I have to. Yes, I do enjoy it, and maybe I'd probably do something like this even if I had plenty of money, but it's not that I do, and so I do have to do these projects. I mean, this is part of my business plan. If I don't do this, then I won't be able to stay in Thailand long term. James Guy, I hope I got that right. Thank you very, very much for your very kind donation. Very, Grateful, appreciate that in the super chat, as they call here on YouTube. Don't want to. Sounds like your cat got in. The cat didn't get in, and I can't really get up at the moment because you're my priority. Ken RQ says the main thing that we, those that have chosen to make Thailand our home, should all remember is that we are guests of Thailand, and the Thais have their own ways of doing things, so we need to adapt. Ken, never a truer word spoken. Now, sometimes it may seem that we're whinging about things here, and having said that, usually I'm very grateful to live here, and I understand 100% that I'm a guest. But there's nothing wrong with having a whinge every now and then, and from time to time, I will mention things as an editorial sort of part of my program where I perhaps wax lyrical about something that may be annoying me. Yeah, we all get caught up in scams, and from time to time I'll be quite happy to tell people about what happened, including the taxi mafia here in Phuket. And yeah, I know I'm a guest in the country, but there are some things that just need to be pointed out, if not just to warn other foreigners coming to Thailand that these are things that you need to watch for. So some of these things sound like complaints, but they're not necessarily complaints. They're really just helping other people that may be coming here in the future avoid these scams. But yes, we are guests in the country. So thank you, Ken RQ. That's well said. Oh, Evil Twin. Stop it. Stop it, Evil Twin. Stop there. Great answer. I feel the same in many ways. Keep up the good work. It's 7:49 in Canada now. CA, Canada. I didn't know that. So thank you very much, Evil Twin, for your support of the program today. And Durian, thank you very much as well. Somewhere in Australia. I don't know where you are. David Glass says, I've lived in Las Vegas and Alabama, so I can take the Thai heat and humidity. Can you? So I've the hottest I've experienced is in Melbourne, Australia, and it was 47. I remember the day well, and I remember I was walking down. I was in the centre of the city of Melbourne. Melbourne is very easy to get around. It's just a grid, and you've got north-south streets and east-west streets. That's about it. A great city. I think one of the world's great cities to just sort of wander around. Gastronomy, things to see. Fashion. I love Melbourne. But on this particular day, I was digressing, there was a strong northerly wind, and this is where we get our hottest weather, when all that heat from the continent blows down into to Victoria and to Melbourne. And it was 47 degrees, and it was quite windy. It was like having a blow dryer, a hairdryer, just blowing in your face. Boy, it was hot. But there was no humidity in it. So I was walking along the street, still quite able to put up with the heat. Here in Thailand, it can be only like 30 degrees, but 90 or 95% humidity, and it's overwhelming. And so, yeah, you need to be careful if you're living here in Thailand, if you're going to be outside for any extended time, to even if you're feeling okay, just make sure you keep up the hydration. I know I got a bit dehydrated yesterday. I was working on my beach house up at Turtle Beach, and I was sweating profusely. I had the fan on, I was still sweating, and I was painting for 3 or 4 hours. I didn't have a drink. You just need to keep hydrated. So I felt a bit bad last night. Nong Wua Su says, I need a poo, but I can't stop watching. I think we'll take a vote. Those who think Nong Wua Su should go into the toilet and do whatever he needs to do, yes, it seems everybody's voted for you, and good luck to you. You could, of course, have a phone or an iPad and you could take it with you, but don't turn the camera on. Spear of Destiny says, I agree with you. Tim lived 4 years in St Kilda, early 1990s. So yes, St Kilda is a great little town. It's on the beach up near Melbourne, about, I don't know, 4 or 5 kilometres from the main city. Bit of a bohemian atmosphere, great cafes, Nice little lifestyle, great boardwalk along the coast. So if you are going to Melbourne, head down to St Kilda. Plenty of selfie shots. You've got the Luna Park and great memories. Roy Transit says, I love AM radio stations in the wee hours of the morning. Sometime I pull in, it's disappeared. Where is it? Sometime I pull in Asia or Europe from the USA. Looks like the radio of yours is getting some use. This is a radio, and it works as an FM radio. It's actually got AM on it as well. But yes, it is actually a functioning FM and AM radio. But more than that, and the only reason I've got it is because it's an MP3 player. So you can plug in your USB with all your songs on it, and it'll play the songs for you out of your this cheap little speaker. This cost me 300 baht, what, $10 US? The main reason I got this, I've got two others as well, as they're props. They're just going to be sitting in on the shelves just to decorate one of the beach houses. So if you come and stay in the beach houses up at Turtle Beach, you'll be able to see these cute little radios, which are functioning radios, but the main reason I got them was for their decoration. Oh, I'm not going to put it back there. I'll break my back. So I used to listen to AM radio in Australia in the sort of 1970s, 80s. That's a long story. I'll tell you another day. David Kirkby. David, thank you very much from the United States, saying, thanks for all your efforts to share the true Thailand. I do my best. I do my best. Alpha Bravo, the greatest gift in Thailand is to remain smiling on both sides. Yeah, look, you will from time to time end up in some sort of confrontation. You may end up, the police may have stopped you on the road. There may be some argument that you suddenly find yourself in. The very, very best advice I can give you is just not to ramp the situation up. I know a lot of Westerners feel inclined that they need to demand their rights and tell people what they think, but the very best advice is just to smile, even put your hands together and just walk away. No better advice could ever be given. If things do start ramping up, don't continue to wind it up any further. Smile, always smile, and walk away. Don't raise your voice. Don't look like you're going to attack anybody. Just walk away. Okay. Alabama, very similar heat. So I'm just trying to find Bar Girls Rock says vintage excellence. So yeah, still plenty of bar girls. People voting for Nong Wua So to head to the toilet. So thank you very much. Bohemian, ha ha ha. That's one way of putting it, says Kazna. Well, what are you thinking? Maybe I'm wrong. Daryl McGee from Australia, thank you very, very much. Appreciate your kind support of the program. And yeah, what else was I going to say about retiring in Thailand? So one other thing about Thailand is it does have a retirement visa. Now, a lot of Southeast Asian countries, in fact, most of them, don't have formal retirement visas. Now, people may complain that the 800,000 baht in the Thai bank or the 65,000 baht per month money coming from overseas are too much. Well, that's the bar that Thailand has set. Now, if you do have 65,000 baht coming in each month, you can live a pretty comfortable life here in Thailand if you don't spend too much time in the bars and don't end up with too many bar girls. 65,000 baht, I've got a close friend who lives on a lot less than that and has money to spare each month. So you can still live a quite good lifestyle for 65,000 baht a month. But that's the level that the Thai government has put. So it's not that you can negotiate it, you can complain about it, but you can't really do much to change that. And if it's going to change in the future, it's going to change in an upward direction, not down. So that is one advantage of Thailand. It does have a proper regulated, legislated retirement visa. And it's a pretty good life for retirees here. I always say to people retiring in Thailand, make sure you've got something to do before you come to Thailand. Don't come to Thailand with, a singlet and a pair of goggles. Come here with something you're going to do. You're going to write a daily blog. You're going to do some volunteer work. You will need a visa to do that. Are you going to maybe work as a teacher part-time? There are millions of things you can do here. There are a lot of things you can't do here, but that's why you come here for 5 or 6 months to do some investigating before you make that big decision to move here full-time. So, Thailand does have a retirement visa. Now, Malaysia, for example, has got the Malaysia My Second Home visa, and a lot of people used to really enjoy that. The price went up recently, but I think they've just brought it back down again. And people say the Philippines are fantastic. Other people say, oh, I'm going to Vietnam. Other people to Indonesia. A lot of people in Bali. Now, it's much more expensive to retire in Bali than it is in Thailand. Now, when it comes to Vietnam, they don't have a retirement visa. You can stay there longer than you used to be able to at the moment, but there's nothing formal in Vietnam, and your time in Vietnam, you'd always be looking over your shoulder, wondering when they're going to be changing the visa rules again. They don't tend to change the visa rules very often here in Thailand, and that's the truth. Places like the Philippines, I don't believe that they have a retirement visa, but it is a little bit more complicated, I understand, tell me if I'm wrong, to live in the Philippines long term. But Philippines shares, for example, Thailand's same sort of general weather and cost of living. And I suppose another advantage of the Philippines is a lot more people do tend to speak English there. Cost of living, hard to beat. If you're living out of the main tourist areas, there's going to be very few places that are going to be as competitive or as cheap to live as Thailand. And you're always going to have that fantastic Thai food, no matter where you are in the country. So that's about all I was going to say about retirement today. Just a quick whip around. And I think I'll just answer some more questions and see if they're there. Hi, fun-sized media. Sometimes those relationships do work. Daryl, I might have missed your earlier comment. I'm sorry. Fun-sized media, my marriage. Okay. Don't be a Karen. Now, I don't know what I can do about this comment section. It does disappear very quickly. I just want to make sure I haven't missed anybody who has been very, very generous. Daryl, I did thank you. David Kirkby, thank you very much. Thank you for all your efforts to share the true Thailand. I think we did that. David Clark. Sorry, David. Thanks for being you. Oh, that's nice. David Clark with an E. Bit like Steve Ross with an E. Thank you very, very much for your very kind donation. So thanks, David, for watching. If you've ever got any questions, throw us a question. I'll do my best to answer it. And thank you, really, to all those people that have also helped answer some questions in the comment section today. Tim, you are good at what you do. I love your channel. Of course, you don't have the talent that Steve Ross has or the hair. Now, that's true. Steve's got the hair. He's got the good looks. He's definitely got the eyebrows, and he's got the talent. It's something, I mean, I sort of have to study, work, check, rehearse, edit. Steve just turns the microphone on and off he goes. He is an amazing talent. There's no doubt about it. And it's great doing a program with him. By the way, tomorrow, Grumpy Old Men. It'll be up online at 8:30 in the morning. I got told a saying some 15 years ago when I first settled here, says Swim Coach Asia. Once you understand Thailand, it's time to catch a taxi to the airport. Yeah, it's an interesting thought that the longer I stay here, the more I don't really understand about Thailand, the more the mystery deepens. People come here for a week and think, I know Thailand now. No, you don't. Once I was here for a year, I thought, yeah, I know Thailand now. No, I don't. And now I've been here for 12 years, and I know absolutely for sure that I don't know Thailand. I think I understand a few more things, but the more you know, the more things you understand you don't know. But the main thing is to not look at that as a minus. Look at it as a plus, an opportunity for the ongoing adventure, an opportunity to explore, to learn, to keep an open mind and to try and understand. Thailand's got a very old and deep culture. It was never colonized by any Western powers. And so their culture goes back a long, long way without that Western influence. And they simply do very ordinary things quite differently. And whilst we sort of go, why are you doing it like that? To the Thais, it's just the way they do things. And so you just got to let it go sometimes. Don't sweat the small things. Just let it go with the flow, and just be very grateful that you're living in this wondrous country. I love living here in Thailand, but for those people that are looking at coming to live here, you may not like living here. The only way you're going to find out is to come and spend an extended amount of time here, talk to people, get on these forums. And some of the forums are very, very toxic, and you'll find a lot of negative people out there. If you go swing your legs under a bar stool, you can run into some really ordinary people, some great people as well. But, around the world, choose your friends well. But come here, speak to people, get some advice, watch some of the different YouTubers, get their own vibe on the country, and, make a decision based on your experience in Thailand. Because what people like me are telling you is just the way that we see Thailand. Evil Twin back again. Just want to make sure. Durian, I think I've got everybody. It has been very kind of you, everybody, to drop in today. Nice video, but have to go. My horse is going a race in Rose Hill in a few minutes. Rose Hill, the main race course there in Sydney. I think they run the other way. No, that's Kentucky. I don't know. I get very mixed up. I'm not into horse racing, although I used to go to the Melbourne Cup every year. Never saw a horse race, but I used to go every year. Swati Kuntim, it's a great program. Thank you very much. Thai Aussies Lifestyle for John and Susie in Chiang Mai. Tim, do you find that Western women are coming to Thailand to retire, or is it typically only grumpy old men? This is from Cooper Bate, and this will be my last comment. So I was speaking with Steve Ross the other day about female retirees, and we do have an increasing amount, I notice, of females on the forums, females commenting in my comments section, and just looking at the statistics, there are more females involved in commenting and watching my videos anyway. It might be because I'm a particularly handsome man. Probably not. So I think there are more females, independent women, deciding to come and live in Thailand. There's going to be less of them, of course. But yeah, is it as easy for a female to live in Thailand as a man? I think, once again, there are going to be some cultural things that you need to sort of be aware of and confront and learn about. But more so than men coming and doing a bit of an exploratory here in Thailand, if you're a female wanting to come to Thailand and live here, I would suggest coming and spending an extended time and really looking around. The dating scene you might find daunting as a single female, maybe looking for companionship. But then again, it might be something that you find very exciting here as well. So it's not going to suit everybody, but it might suit a lot of people. You're going to have to enjoy the heat. You're going to have to enjoy just living with another culture. And at the end of the day, you're going to have to enjoy eating Thai food. If you don't like Thai food, don't come to Thailand. If you just want to eat Western food for the rest of your life, yeah, you can do that. You can go down to the shops and do a weekly shopping and cook at home yourself. But it is going to be more expensive. There's no doubt about that. And with that, I thank you all very, very much. Can't wait to see Steve Ross tomorrow. It's all about Steve from Luther Faust. Same, Daryl. Steve is the man. We're descending into Rumsfeld territory, known unknowns. Yes, I think you're probably right. So, yeah, it looks like Daryl and Luther are big Steve fans. Well, Steve will be on this channel tomorrow. Of course, he does his own weekly vlogs, and you can find Steve at Steve Ross with an E. That's the name of his channel. Doesn't get any easier than that. So at the moment, we're going to keep on doing Grumpy Old Men. I think there's going to be a time, sometime in the future, where we won't do it anymore. I think we'll sort of run out of things to talk about. I don't know. We sort of ramble on for nearly an hour each week, and I sort of wonder, where has that time gone? What have we actually spoken about? Steve worries about that a lot less than I do. But I always sort of think about content and is this interesting and what do people want to know and is that accurate and can we say this and are we going to be demonetized? I have all these things running through my mind at all times when I'm doing the program. But Steve just says what he likes. I love that. Frank in Thailand, thank you very, very much. Frank, appreciate your support of the channel. I know 4 Western ladies married with Thai men on YouTube. They share their life stories, says Antoine. Yep, there certainly are. So yeah, do your research. Do your research on YouTube. Plenty of channels, people with different experiences, and most importantly, come to Thailand at some stage and dip your toes in the water and see what you think about the place. Steve Ross will never run out of things to talk about, says Hans. I think you're right about that. You guys will just get grumpier. We'll get older and grumpier. There's no doubt about that. And Alpha Bravo says, looking forward to the show tomorrow. Please teach Steve to shout less. It's part of what he does. Yeah. You two could go on indefinitely. No. I don't think so. And look, I think the problem with the Grumpy Old Men program from a YouTube point of view and from a business point of view is the audience isn't really growing. It seems to have that core audience, some 10,000 people that watch the show each week, and then we can't seem to increase on that. I don't know why. So it may be that we've sort of, I don't know, peaked. And from a business point of view, I never like to see anything peaking. I'm always looking for, an opportunity to move forward. Anyway, it's not as if it's a difficult program to do. I do tend to research a bit. Steve just turns up and puts on a nice shirt, and he's a delightful man to chat to for an hour. And I'm very, very lucky to get that opportunity. I'm heading up to Turtle Beach. I'm going to be painting doors today. That's my day. The rest of my Saturday, I've got to pick up the painter in about 20 minutes. Who will be helping. I've also got another tradesperson there putting the benches in the kitchen. So plenty happening up at Turtle Beach today at the beach houses. And I'll be, I suppose, posting some information about how they're coming on in a few weeks' time. Thanks for tuning in. I hope your day is as good as it is here in Phuket. It's going to be 31 degrees and blue skies. Can see a few clouds, but nice light westerly breeze. Just really couldn't be better. Hope all is well in your world. Have a great Saturday. Have a great weekend. And we'll be back with Grumpy Old Men tomorrow, then our usual news program on Monday here on TNT. So Tim Newton signing out.